and welcome to Voices of the Future. I'm Graceful.
And I'm Sweva. Today, we're talking to someone who's working hard to make sure every Nigerian child gets a great education, the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed.
Thank you, Ma, for joining us. Ma, we've got big questions, a fun game, and a rapid round of fire. Ready?
That's interesting. I'm ready, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Ma. You're welcome.
First, Ma, can you tell us what inspired you to work in education?
Well, it's a long story, but I will try to shorten it. For me, really, I didn't want to go into education. My ambition as a student at my secondary school, really like many others, was to become a medical doctor. But my dad, in his wisdom, who happens to be a professor, mentioned that because of a lot of cultural barriers with regards to early marriage and the rest, the best option for me was to go for education. And I can see that it wasn't an easy battle. I was not happy, but I later accepted it. But once I started education, I discovered that really it is for me. I got a lot of joy in terms of educating my students, the interaction, the achievement, and the rest. I felt that really I have an impact that I can make, and I'm happy that he made that choice for me. Though not mine, but I'm owning it now.
Ma, and what's one thing you wish all Nigerian students knew about your work?
There are a lot of things that we do, but really for me is to ensure that every Nigerian child has the opportunity to go to school, not only to go to the school, but to learn and thrive. Inclusive education, inclusive quality education is a priority for us at the Ministry of Education and as contained in the Renewed Hope Agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Thank you, Ma, for that answer.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Ma, many students are still not yet in school. What is your ministry doing to change that?
We have a lot of programs for the out-of-school children. Right now, the statistics we are working shows that we have about 15 million students out of school. And for us, we have specific programs. One of such programs is, out of those 15 million, about 6 million, really, 60% of that are girls. So we have a program that is targeting the girls' education. And then we also have a program that is targeting the other category, that is the youths, which is not exclusive. So what we are doing right now is there are a TVET initiative. The TVET initiative is providing opportunity for skill development for the youth in terms of ensuring that every youth has something to learn and can be a productive member of the society. And then also we created a very big tax team. This tax team comprises of all the agencies and parastatals in education that has something to do with out-of-school children. And then the girls' education initiative that we have, we call it the Lumina 2030. It's targeting girls in rural community, girls in disadvantaged areas where they don't have access to school. For instance, there are locations in Nigeria that a girl needs to walk about 8 kilometers, 7 kilometers to the nearest school, which is actually serving as a barrier for her to actually enroll in that school. But this is the plan we have on the ground.
Thank you, Ma, for that answer.
Thank you.
Ma, how do you help children who dropped out to return to school?
As I mentioned earlier, basically we are doing a re-enrollment campaign. This re-enrollment campaign include engaging all relevant stakeholders from traditional leaders, religious leaders, and then the parents, town halls meeting, just to actually enlighten the parents to the need for the child to be enrolled in school. Apart from that, also there are incentives. These incentives is to get the attention of these children and their parents so that they are enrolled in the school. Part of the incentive is the conditional cash transfer and also the feeding program that we are going to introduce in the next session. So these are the targeted approach we are using. The Al-Majri, which is part of 25% of the 15 million children that are considered out of school, though they are not out of school, they are in school, but their curriculum is very narrow in terms of it only have a subject or two in terms of the curriculum provision. So these Al-Majri at the end of their schooling may not have the opportunity to further their education in terms of going to tertiary education and obtaining any certification that they can use to be productive members of the society. And at the end of the day also, even if they don't go to tertiary school, they have not been trained in any field to enable them cope with the 21st century. So what we are doing, apart from the door-to-door and the stakeholders engagement, we are also expanding the curriculum for the Almajiri, we have developed a policy, though it has not been finalized, it's in first draft, but we have developed a policy to see how government can come into the Al-Ramah school, the Almajiri school. The focus is to expand the curriculum to include foundational literacy, numeracy, and also skill training, so that by the time the child finishes the Almajiri school, he can be able to sit for the WAEC or NECO and actually continue with his education, because now the curriculum is expanded to include other subjects that can enable him to do that. At the same time, they are now exposed to different skills. So even if they don't continue with tertiary education, they have something hands-on job that they can rely on. The major objective, as I mentioned, is to ensure that every child has an opportunity to be a functional member of the society.
Thank you, Ma.
Welcome.
Ma, how about children that are in areas of conflict? How do you reach them?
We have provision for we have IDPs, and there are schools under IDPs. The government is supporting them. And then apart from that, the IDPs in the schools, they have counseling units, and we have a lot of development partners that are also coming to support such children. But I can say that we're happy because that things have come down. The areas of conflict now have been minimized. But we're hoping that we will soon come to an end. But really, there are specific provisions for such children also. And even the Lumina project that I talked about, there is some of these IDP schools are going to be selected to be part of it.
Ma, can you give me an example of IDP schools?
It's within the camp. I can't say that specific because it's not exactly under our office, but then it's within the camp. They have IDP schools.
Okay. Thank you, Ma.
You're welcome.
Ma, some schools lack teachers or supplies. What's your plan to fix this?
Let me say this, it's always important that you understand how education is operational in Nigeria. Education is on the concurrent list. We have the federal government, which is expected to give policy direction and support states in the implementation. And then we have the states. So at the federal government, we do the policy making, we support states in the implementation, but really it's at the state level that they do full implementation of all our policies. And yes, we have limited teachers in some of the states, not all the states, but at the federal level, we are trying to see how do we encourage states to employ more teachers, because we really need to do that. That is an agreed ratio of teacher-student ratio. So what we are doing right now, we have worked on UBEC disbursement guidelines to see how do we encourage states to employ more teachers. But I know that right now a lot of states also have plans of employing additional teachers, but it's something that we are pursuing and it's something that we are supporting states to do.
Thank you, Ma.
You're welcome.
Ma, how do you decide which schools need help first?
It depends on the states in terms of which schools get what. But what we are doing right now, because we notice also that there is a gap in terms of specific needs, meeting specific needs of states, of schools. Some schools don't need additional classes. What they need is the renovation of existing classes. Some schools don't need that. What they need probably is more teachers. So right now, federal government is embarking on school grading. The school grading is a complex data collection tool that we are going to use in terms of, I think there are about 7 key pillars: teachers, classes, facilities, achievement of students in terms of internal examination, external examination, even the school administration, community school relationship. So what we're going to do is we are going to grade the schools A, B, C. A for excellent school, B for good schools, average school, below average, and poor school. So that data collection instrument will allow us to know where the gap is, and then we can target our intervention in terms of addressing school by school gaps as we identified based on the survey. This is something that has already been finalized and we are just going to roll it out.
Thank you. Welcome back. Time for Pick from the Basket. Ma, pick a question and read it out loud.
If you could teleport to any classroom in Nigeria right now, where will you go? Interesting. Back to my school. I did my secondary school at Bayer University Staff Secondary School. So if I'm to teleport back, I will actually go back to my classroom because I enjoyed my stay as a student of the staff school.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Emma, pick another question.
What is the funniest excuse you've had from a student? There was a time that I asked for an assignment from my students. Remember that I'm dealing with undergraduate students, a 200 level student. I gave an assignment and it was submitted back. I realized that one of the students actually didn't do the assignment, but someone has done a rough assignment. So what he did was to cancel his name and just write his own name and submit that as his assignment. When I noticed that, I called the two students, and the answer given to me by that student was that he forgot their submitting the assignment that day, that he did the assignment, but it was at home. So it was really funny because this is something that they have sent reminders, not once or twice. It's just too silly. It's better he comes with that excuse rather than canceling the name of another person and using it as his own. It was reckless.
Well, ma, the funniest excuse I've given to my teacher was that on my way to school, a dog chased me, so my notes fell on the road. So that's why I did not do my assignment. That's why I did not do my
Try
assignment.
to do your assignment.
Okay, ma.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Before we wrap up, let's play One Word, One Wish.
Ma, we'll say a word. You say the first thing that comes to your mind and then share one wish to Nigerian students. Ma, my first word is, the word is mother tongue.
What I would say is mother tongue is important because it is our cultural heritage. I wish that really every child has the ability to learn and thrive, achieve his full potential, and that is what we are trying to do as a country in Nigeria.
Ma, well, when I hear the word mother tongue, I think that all children are supposed to know how to speak their tribes. They shouldn't just learn English. They shouldn't just stick on it with English. They must learn their tribes, their mother tongues.
They should, but it's the responsibility of their parents to do that. I said it's an interesting word because we are having a challenge with it in terms of it depends on your location, your geography in the country. Most states in the south, they don't even speak the mother tongue to their children at home. So children are not exposed to their mother tongue, they only learn to speak English. But at the same time, as I said, if you pick the geography, if you go to northern part of the country, places like Northwest, they speak complete mother tongue to their children. And then as a country, we have a policy that says children should be taught in mother tongue or immediate language of environment from primary 1 to 3 and transition to English. So while in the South, they don't do that. They don't implement the policy simply because the children, if you pick a class in Lagos, you discover that you may have children from 15 different languages, 15 different backgrounds, and therefore they don't implement that policy. They teach the children in English. But if you pick a classroom in Kano, they oversubscribe to that in that they teach with Hausa from primary 1 to 6, from JS1 to SS3. When you come for JAM interview, you sit JAM in English. When you go for a job interview after graduating, they ask you in English. So you create a divide. You create a disadvantage for some children while others have an advantage over those children. And that was why when you say mother tongue, I said an interesting conversation.
Thank you, Professor Suweiba, for inspiring us. We hope that you visit our school also one day.
Try to do that.
To our listeners, keep dreaming, keep learning. And remember, the future of education isn't just about buildings and books. It's about us, the learners. Catch you next time on Voices of the Future. Bye.